Okay, I found something interesting that got like some traction, so apparently like something. Why I quit WoW as a new player? As a veteran player, I still like I still kind of like to hear like criticism about my favorite game, right? So as someone who doesn't quit WoW, like it will be, I'm actually curious to know what are like what is the opinion of this player. So let's check it out.
Why did I stop playing WoW as a new player? Is it because I didn't have fun? Because I got kicked out of a dungeon for not knowing how to interrupt? Because I couldn't win the Trial of Style even though I was obviously the best dressed troll in town? While I'm tempted to say the last option, the truth is, it's none of the above. I had a lot of fun during the time I played. While it was a lot to take in, as I hadn't really played a game like WoW before, it was—
Yeah, if you never played WoW, I actually like, it's really such an experience, but like it's similar to, I'd say, so as a new player, I think that like World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy is, if you want to get an idea, because like World of Warcraft, Final Fantasies, other MMORPGs, but especially these two, but like there is also like Destiny 2, right? If you really want to have an example of what it feels like when it comes to like understanding knowledge and how much it takes effort to actually like understand the game, think about how much think about like because everyone played League of Legends, lol, right? Imagine it is the same experience pretty much, at least in my opinion, as trying to start trying to become a player of League of Legends, not Valorant, not like Teamfight Tactics, League of Legends as a new player. I think that it is the same experience when it comes to knowledge. It's not the same game, but when it comes to like the amount of efforts that you need to do, it is pretty much the same. All right.
such a breath of fresh air to play something new and start down a path that many people had already been down for over 2 decades.
Let me just...
And while I did get kicked for not knowing how to interrupt, I learned it pretty quickly and made sure to smash the shit out of that button for the rest of my playtime. But the Trial of Style is actually rigged because what the fuck? So why?
So I play warrior. Okay.
All this did I decide to call it quits?
Play
Let me explain. In early 2023, I stepped foot into Azeroth for the very first time. Pretty much out the gate, I was hooked. I was bopping murlocs, I was bopping porcupines, I was bopping rats, and also got bopped myself. I enjoyed the feeling of progression and the wide variety in the skill tree. Then suddenly, it felt like a spanner was thrown in the works. I was pushed into one of WoW's many expansions, Battle for Azeroth. It felt like I had just walked into a movie halfway through. I was regarded as some legendary hero already, even though all I did was shank a murloc and awkwardly fumble my way around figuring out how to remove abilities from my ability bar. I know that story maybe isn't the most important aspect of WoW, but when you have no idea what the game actually offers outside of the story, it would have been nice for at least a little recap. But honestly, this wasn't really much of an issue. The further I got into the story, the more I started to enjoy it. While I did find a lot of quests to be just copy and paste, collect and return missions, there were also some really cool moments which I enjoyed. But then the moment I had been waiting for, the end game. Once I stepped into Dragonflight, the game really came alive. I felt like I just finished some long ass tutorial and now it was finally time to play the game. I kind of wish that the game actually started here instead of throwing me into some random expansion, but I was happy to be there nonetheless. The true grind began. I did dungeons, upgraded my armor, found new trinkets, and upgraded my skills. I zugged and zugged my way through Mythic Plus, raids, events, and once I stepped back, I could see all this cool shit I had. Gaz was unstoppable. But then I took a little break and a new expansion came out. In this short time, Gaz went from powerful, rat-killing troll lord to a soft-skulled baby, dropped headfirst on the hard reality of having to grind all this gear again. Maybe this is how the flow of the game has always been, but something felt really bad about losing all of this progress. I understand that there always needs to be progression, but to know that all my hard-earned items were now merely cosmetic did kind of kill my motivation. Maybe that's another quick point I can talk about. Hot take time. I'm not sure I ever really liked how so much content was made to be purely cosmetic. Maybe it's just because I never experienced this until WoW, but I'm more used to gear visually representing how strong you are rather than just looking cool. Because that is what I was doing, and I still looked like a fucking Chad. It'd be really cool to run past someone and see that they have all of this new gear, but what actually ends up happening is I see a night elf with her tits out trying to sell me her OnlyFans. Now, I could be completely wrong about this, but there are over 20 years of updates and expansions, and unless there is some special event where the old dungeons are actually scaled correctly, it's just mindlessly insta-killing everything. It seems like a
I talked about it, and I actually want to replay well, for the same reasons, like I skipped like some expansions, and I talked about it, like scaling, and it's interesting because we, like he as a new player, share the same opinion as me, a veteran player. You should be able to scale instances at your level so you don't one-shot everything. It is really that stupid. I think that like a lot of questing can be interesting. Think about The Witcher, right? The Witcher 3, Skyrim. People play it and they do it for the questing and they like it. World of Warcraft is the same. The storytelling is not the same exactly because like there's a lot to read, but I think that like the player should not be actually forced to one-shot everything if he wants to discover past expansions that are already like under level. It's that stupid because like you walk around and these quests, like for example reputation, sometimes like it's actually like better that it takes more time to kill mobs because like, you know, like all those the gear that you get, etc., like it changes your gameplay and your game style, but like it doesn't like it's like Blizzard should add the option to do past content at rescale level where you do not one-shot everything. This is something that will be really great, and I'm happy to see that like someone else is actually sharing this opinion.
Shame that so much content is basically dead and areas barren. In my time playing, I only really explored BFA and Dragonflight. There was never really much reason or incentive to explore other places unless I wanted a specific transmog. There were times where I just explored for the hell of it, and I thought to myself how cool playing through this would have been, but it's like it's just been forgotten. I would have
Exactly. All cool would have been to no one like questing. Well, I get no, like people love questing. People go through. Think about like WoW Classic and people going through the quest of Thunder Fury to just like have a weapon. Like, yeah, it's for the weapon, but like it's also for the questing, you know?
really like if there was more of a reason to go back to older expansions. I mean, obviously I could make a new character and level through a specific expansion, but just like when I leveled BFA, it would feel
Yeah, but like it doesn't. You want to keep your character. You made a character. You should have the option to because technically, like, if you think lore-wise, it doesn't make sense. You know, like Thrall, Jaina, I don't know, like artists. No matter like what level you are, technically within the lore, they're always above you when it comes to you think like because you leveled up, like you went to a new region, you're more powerful than Tarande. Yeah, okay. I mean, just no, it's just because like when it comes to lore, maybe it doesn't make sense here. Well, it always does, kind of.
like a single player game instead of an MMO until the latest content is reached, since that's where the majority of the players are. But even then, it feels sort of pointless since you can literally pay just to skip it all anyway. Was that even really a hot take? I don't know. Now to my next.
No, I think that like this is a past choice that they did, and technically, like like the gold farming. Now that I think of it, it's so complicated to allow like gold farming, like, or like CS boosting. But it's a choice that has been made, and it's better, like better or worse. It's a choice that they did. So hateful or not, these are like company choices. Like I think now I got used to it. I think taking it, like, you can, the only reality is that you cannot take it away. You cannot remove boosting or gold buying or stuff like that. But like back then when they did the choice, well, they did it. And now, well, it's part of the game.
The reason. I feel like maybe I started too late. When I first heard about WoW in the early 2000s, I always imagined that it was a game where player interaction was at the center of it all. I'd heard stories about how you would meet other players naturally in the game, join a guild, organize when you're gonna do a raid, all meet up on the day, jump in a call, and send it. So
it was true, but like also like it's a type of game where like people spend like 3-4 hours like per session, per like playthrough each time they play, and there is a lot of downtime. But like the more, like, you really need to do an effort to interact with people in this game, and it's like, it's weird. Yeah, I mean, at the same time, like, think about League of Legends, like, you're in the same team trying to win, and people do not like each other. It's been like this forever, and it's like, because you're like, if people didn't took like spend their time like fucking typing that they hate, and they hate the pick of like someone else, like, it will be better, like, it's a part of reality,
for a game that seemed so rooted in player interaction, I was
Well, I completely agree.
somewhat surprised by the lack of it. As I mentioned before,
And the vanilla Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King experience is done and gone. Like, even with classic, like, it changed, and like some people got to re-experience, but even the classic experience is one and gone. So basically, like, these are like it's kind of like the Call of Duty Modern Warfare days of like, or like the early League of Legends, right? It's moments where like you can try to say it like, oh yeah, bro, it's a moment in time where like people acted differently, and you cannot really like do anything about it, which is like, for better or worse,
This is partly because I was forced into dead content where it was super rare to see another player. And if I wanted to join a raid, a dungeon, or have something crafted, I didn't need to look for people or even talk at all. You literally just click a button in a menu and that's it. But then again, I noticed that a lot of players aren't really interested in interacting anyway. And while I did find some really cool players, people just seemed to be locked in, racing to get to the end game as fast as possible. And some of them had very little patience for new players. However, I do think that I had a very different experience than the average player. This is because I'd managed to build a community from my YouTube videos. And once I had this community of people to play with, it was some of the most fun that I have had in a multiplayer game.
Yeah, that's pretty much like the thing. And back in the day, vanilla at Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King, it was part of the game to have like some sort of community in any way, because like the content was too difficult to do by yourself, and there wasn't like any like there wasn't any skipping it.
I usually stream when I played, and because of this, I found cool people that were more than happy to carry me through dungeons and raids and wouldn't get tilted since I was absolute dog shit. I honestly think that without my YouTube community, my WoW experience would have been completely different. Because of them, I was allowed to struggle and learn during dungeons and raids instead of...
But this is interesting because, like, even with the community aspect, he actually changed, decided to quit WoW, which is usually the thing that, like, once you find a community, this is usually like the aspect of the game that actually keep players in. So I'm really curious to know that like, even with his community, what made him quit.
Having to go off and study mechanics before I even stepped foot in a raid. I remember that one of my favorite bosses was Razgir. I genuinely had so much fun fighting the stupid purple dragon because in the beginning I got absolutely stomped, but each fight I would learn more and more mechanics until eventually, instead of being the first to die, I was one of the last. And to think if I just had the regular player experience without the help of my YouTube community, I probably wouldn't have had the chance to play like that, and I wouldn't have had anywhere near as much fun. So to go back to my point, I do think that I joined too late and that the way players interact with each other has changed, but I don't fully see this as a WoW problem because I see it in other games that I play as well. I think that it's a change in mentality as people play any game for a long time.
Yeah, this is true, and I think that, like, now that he makes this point, I think that, like, if you play long enough World of Warcraft, you'll find eventually, like, a community. You'll find like, people that you'll be able to become friends with. But, like, here's the thing: it's kind of like it's really like to like. At least it's not like, let's say, Valorant of League of Legends, where you really can play the game since you play and never make a single damn friend, you know?
Imagine that the majority of the current WoW player base are more experienced players, and it's easy to forget what it's like to be a noob. I got super lucky with somewhat artificially finding a community, and if I had to do it naturally, probably would have been a lot more difficult. So, why did I eventually call it quits? It was a combination of all the points I mentioned before. For me personally, a great game needs a good balance of gameplay, story, and world building. While the gameplay is really fun, the others is where it starts to lack for me. I know that WoW has a great story and so many cool places to explore, but it just sucks that the game doesn't really give you the chance to experience them in their best form. I think that it'd be cool if each new expansion story interconnected with the old ones at least a little bit, to give context to the previous stories, maybe know what happened, and to make the zones still relevant. Also, since I started Dragonflight quite late, the third season was already starting. By the time I grinded out the Mythic Plus and raids, the new expansion date had already been named, and all of my awesome gear was basically going to become useless. I didn't really see the point in continuing at that point when I was just going to have to restart in a month or so. I noticed that T-Mog and mount farming is huge. For some players, it's all they do. I was never super interested in cosmetics, and farming them doesn't really feel fun or engaging. But does that mean I hate WoW or think that it's a bad game? Yeah, absolutely not. Because if it sure had some awesome moments, like getting a new best in slot item, or finally defeating a raid I've been trying for ages, or winning the Trial of Style and definitely not losing every time. Those moments really made the game amazing. Honestly, I really feel like I did exactly what I wanted to do, and now I'm ready to move on. And while I might not be playing now, I'm sure that Gaz will find himself in the future zugzugging once again. But until then, Loktar Oga or some shit. Now, this will probably be my last World of Warcraft video for a while, but I want to say thank you to everyone for watching my videos, even with my horrific upload schedule, accepting me into the WoW community, and allowing me to have such a blast. I know that I wouldn't have had played anywhere near as much without you all. So, what now? Well, I won't be playing WoW anytime soon. I hope that you guys will join me on a new journey. I found a passion for game development, and I wish to bring you guys along on the journey with me, just as I have with WoW. I had so much fun playing your game, so let me return the favor and make something awesome for you guys too. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all very soon.
And this was an awesome take as a player. Like, really, like, this is the type of criticism that I really like, because, like, he really made some good points, and he truly, like, he was truly able to actually, like, talk about something that that I can understand. Like, it wasn't like completely rage, or like, it was like really good points. Like, if WoW could do better, it will be great. But like, if it's your favorite game, you know, what can you do? Like,